Hello and welcome to day 3 of the Creative Expressions 30-day challenge. Now, as you know, lots of us have got a little bit more time on our hands than we normally do. So Creative Expressions have been incredibly kind and offered us a 30-day challenge. Every day they're releasing a new topic, theme or item for us to create and craft with, to see different ideas that you lot could come up with. So with that in mind, today's topic is geometric. So I thought I would bring together one of my favourite styles of cards and use a few of my favourite products to share a couple of my ideas. Now, you don't, of course, have to copy this card. The whole idea is that you're going to come up with your own geometric designs. Now, that could be out of stamps, dies, or whatever other style of paper crafting you like to do. And then you can upload your creations either under this video on, of course, Creative Expressions official Facebook page, which is solely there for you to share your creations, or on my personal page, which is Jamie Rogers Crafts. And of course, I would love to see what you're doing. I'll also be giving away the card that I've created to one lucky person who participates in today's challenge. So if you can post your pictures under my comments or of this video on the Jamie Rogers Crafts page, I'll pick one lucky winner and I'll send this card out to you free of charge anywhere in the world. So let's have a little look at what we're going to be using today, shall we? First of all, we're going to use one of the Sue Wilson's Quilt Essential dies. Now, there are 3 of these in the collection, I believe. We're going to be using the Cubes design. These are really great. They actually come as 2 separate dies. So you've got an outside cutting edge on this one with a lovely stitch detail running around the inside and the outside. So you could cut apertures, or you can cut frames, or you can cut solid panels. And then we have our Cubes panel. So I'm only going to use the Cubes panel for this bit, but I thought I would show you how it works. I'm going to take a piece of our Foundations Lilac card and we're going to cut out the panel. Now, what I need from this actually is just to show you how it works, because I've got them pre-cut already and we'll look at them and play about with the bits I've already got done. But it's really just to show you how lovely these dies work. Now, if you wanted, this is a good tip actually, if you wish to keep the bits within your card or actually within your die, so if you're going to be doing paper piecing and you don't want to have to pick up all of the loose bits that fall out like on my mat here, I say we don't need these, it doesn't really matter, but if you wanted to keep them in your die so you know where they're going, if you take a water bottle and actually spritz your die before you cut it, the water, the dampness will keep the pieces in the die, so when they come out they're all in place for you to pop out when you actually wish to use them. As you can see, they'll all fall out quite nicely, ready for us to do our paper piecing with if we so wish. But the bit we actually need is this part, which of course is our lovely geometric design. Now, as I say, I've already got mine pre-cut, so we don't actually need these ones, but it is always nice for you to see just how easily the die is cut. Now, for my panel, I've actually used the outside cutting blade with it. So to do that, all you're going to do is pop that round that die when you cut them out, or you can cut them separate if you wish, but I tend to nest mine together, then just use a piece of low-tack tape to hold it in place while it goes through the machine, and this is what you will end up with. For my background panel, I have taken a double-sided sticky sheet, which I've actually popped onto a square, which has been cut out with that design, so I know it's going to be the right size to go under this, and we're going to match that up and stick it on top. There we go. So we'll pop that down. If you take the piece that you've removed from the top, you can actually go back and really push this down just to make sure everything is nice and firmly in place, and you don't have to worry that any of the bits are going to come up, and you then won't be sticking to the sticky bit of it either. So it's quite a nifty trick that way to protect you and to not damage your work. Now, what I've done beforehand is I've already cut the same die out of gold mirror card. And all we're going to do is just do a bit of paper piecing, literally by lifting these pieces and popping them back on top of the gaps they've come out of. But we're using obviously a different colour to do so. And everything, as long as you cut your panels completely, obviously, you're going to have everything that you need to be able to complete your panel with one pass through the machine. Even all of the little half bits and the smaller bits to go up in areas like that, obviously you're going to have them as well. Now, the good bit is this actual outside bit, you've got one of them now left in gold, and you've got all of the lilac bits which have come out of your lilac cut, so you could reverse this colour scheme on the next panel or for a different card. But you're going to carry on and you're going to fill in all of them pieces until you're happy with it. And what you will end up with, obviously, is a completely filled in panel. So if we jump ahead a stage, this is what you'll end up with, which is our completed piece. Now on my panels here, I've already embossed these using the Blossom Brocade A4 embossing folder. But for this video, I thought I would show you doing it with the slightly smaller but 3D folder of the roses instead. This is actually one of my favourites. So we're going to send this through the machine just to show you that although you've done your paper piecing and you've done your die cutting, there's no reason you couldn't do more to this if you wanted. So like, I'm embossing it obviously, but if you preferred, you could stamp over the top of this. You could heat emboss over the top of this. You could do some inking over it if you wanted. The options are yours. But now once we've sent it through and embossed it, you can see we've got that really nice texture that brings it all together and gives you a whole new definition. If you wanted to, you could go over the top now with a brayer and just highlight the texture, or you could use some of the Cosmic Shimmer polishes to highlight the top of this if you wanted to, or you could just leave it as it is. The choice is up to you. So we'll pop that to one side for a second and we'll get rid of our one we was working on, and we will bring in our card blank. So for this, what I've done is I've taken two 6.5 inch card blanks, ordinary card blanks that you would normally purchase in a packet, taken two of them. I've layered Gold Mirri and Lilac Foundations card onto 3 pieces. So as you can see, if you open up one card as an ordinary card, I've done both inside pieces, and on the outside of one of the cards, I've just added one piece there. You'll notice I've put 2 crosses. Now these are the bits I'm going to glue together to make my 3-fold card. So I'm going to use my Cosmic Shimmer glue for this because it's a really nice, strong, dries, clear glue. I'm using it in a slightly different bottle to what you may have seen us use before. These usually come in larger oval bottles or slightly smaller oval bottles, but my favourite is the 60ml bottle. I find it's much easier to squidge the glue out of, and especially for people with dexterity problems, they tend to find this bottle a lot easier. In my classes at my store, we've now completely swapped to these bottles in class because a lot of people find them a lot easier to use. So it does come with quite a bit of a recommendation from our team. So what we now have is we have our 3 panels, which I've already created, as I just showed you. And as I said, I've embossed mine using the Blossom Brocade embossing folder. We're going to take our Cosmic Shimmer glue and we're going to stick them now on all 3 panels. So we'll start off with this edge one, bring that one in, pop that down. I love this style of working and I love paper piecing, and I think it's a really nice way to use your colour cardstock that you may have sitting there already, or a good excuse to go and buy some new colours and add to your collection. But this is just the lilac and gold. So lilac, gold and white is all we're using for this really at this point. We'll pop our 3rd panel on. So what we've basically created by taking our 2 card blanks is a 3-fold card, which now can close like so. So it's still going to sit in the same size envelope. We haven't yet added anything too bold to this to prevent it being in an envelope. It's still the same sort of footprint for your sizes. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 pieces of vellum. Now my vellum's already been stamped over with an Woodware old letter stamp. Now I wanted to show this to you because it's one of my favourite stamps. I like these videos because it means I get to bring you all of my real true favourites and show you them in a different format to what we normally would. So I'm just using some black ink to stamp this with, just because I want you to see how beautiful this stamp is. Obviously it's an A6 size, so although my pieces of vellum are slightly smaller than that, you can of course do smaller areas. This stamp's actually quite good as well if you want to build up larger background areas too. It's quite easy to stamp larger backings. So there we go, and there's our stamped image. I also really like the way we've got these little ink smudges in it as well, so it shows it's not perfect. So again, if you do overlap slightly, it doesn't matter, it all blends in. Really loads of techniques we can do with a stamp like this, but as I said, on my ones I've just used white embossing powder, and I've stamped in clear Versamark ink, heat embossed in the white on the vellum, so it looks a bit like a parchment technique instead has been used instead of the stamping, which can be quite nice because it gives you a different effect. And then what we are going to do is we are going to take our sheet of sticky specs. Give me 1 second. They've tried to escape, but we'll get them back. We're going to take our sticky specs and we're going to pop our vellum onto here. Now, sticky specs can be seen through this, so do realise that you will see them. Vellum is a transparent product, so you will still see the sticky specs come through. But to be honest with you, I don't actually mind that. As long as it's a uniform covering, I don't think it makes too much of a difference. It's better than having large blobs of glue showing if you've got a uniformed coverage. Now, sticky specs, if you haven't seen them before, I'm blasely using them, so I ought to explain them a bit more. Sticky specs basically are sheets full of sticky dots. So you might be able to see them on that corner there. They're literally ultra fine glue dots that cover a whole sheet. Creative Expressions actually have them in packets of A4 or A5. They pretty much work out around the same value, so it doesn't really make too much difference if you go for the A4 or the A5. But they're just a really good coverage. So if you're using ultra fine dyes, like I will be in a moment, they're a really good way to adhere your pieces without actually having to get messy with glue. We're going to pop that one in the middle there as well. Now the good bit with vellum over the top of here is you're still seeing that really nice lilac and the gold and even the embossing from the embossing folder still shine through. You haven't lost any of that. It's still there. Nothing's covered up completely. Now for our middle panel, what we're going to do is we're going to take another set of layers, which I've already pre-mounted. And on this one we have When Life Gives You Scraps, Make a Quilt, which is a really lovely Sue Wilson die, and of course goes in really well with our quilting theme of this card and our geometric design. We're going to pop that in the centre. And then on top of that, I've taken the Filigree Artist Collection Beautiful Butterfly die, and I've just double layered that in coconut white cardstock and added a few pearls down the centre. And we're going to go quite geometric-ish, if you like, with our design. We're going to pop that straight away into the middle of our panel. And then we're going to do exactly the same on the third panel on our card. And we're going to bring this one down. Again, 2 layers, again in coconut white. We'll pop that down there too. And I like, if you do 2 layers, it gives you that little bit of definition from the wings. Gives you the ability to just 3D them. We'll let that dry and then we'll give that a bit more shaping. And then we're going to look at our flowers. So our flowers today that we're using are from the Cosmos set. Again, it's a Sue Wilson die set. It is genuinely my favourite flower because if you get the solid pieces that cut out, and we also get the filigree pieces, and you get that idea in 3 different sizes. So this is the largest, there's then a medium and a small one, and you also get the leaves with it as well. And the leaves come in several different sizes. So we have 3 different sizes to our leaves, and I'll try and set these out for you so you can see them. But you also have left and right. So each set of leaves, so you've got the left way and the right way of each style. So value for money is a set of dies. You get an awful lot in this set, and it gives you a lot more freedom for building up your displays. So with my flowers, all I've done is I've taken the lacy part, I've popped these again on our sticky specs, find a piece with lots on it. There we go. Pop that down, give it a little brush over the top of it, a little rub down, just to get them dots in place. And then we're going to pick that one off, and we will pop it on top of our other colour. Now, of course, if you don't want to, you can offset these, or you could have cut the background piece in like double-sided sticky, the same product as what we had underneath our paper piece in, and then we could put glitter or aurora flakes through the middles of these petals instead. So you could do some really creative flower effects with these. And then all I would do normally is just shape them, just using a bone folder to give them a bit of depth and a bit of shape to them. And then bend them out in the middle just to give them that nice sort of 3D flower style. And then I tend to layer a couple of mine together, and this is what we create. They're the flowers that we're aiming for. So for this card, I've created 6 of these, and we're just going to go ahead and pop these on with some wet glue. Now this glue is quite quick drying, but they might slide a little when we lift it up to show you the finished effect. Pre-warning there, I know what's coming. I'll take another one and pop that over here. And I quite like with these flowers that you can sort of interlock the petals as well. There's quite a nice gap in areas, so you can sort of interlock how they sit together. And then we'll take our last flower, and we'll pop that on this panel at the end here. Pop that over this side. So we're going to stick with our 5 flowers to show a odd number, because they always say we should work in odd numbers, don't they? We'll bring back this bit and we'll pop out some glue onto here, just for us to dip our leaves into. Pop that nice large one coming out from under there, and then we'll add in a couple of our filigree bits. So hopefully this very simple card is giving you a little bit of an idea on what you could be creating for today's geometric theme. I'm hoping that you've got lots of ideas and that you're going to bamboozle us with your creations so that we get to see a load of ideas. Don't forget you can share these on Jamie Rogers Crafts page, which is me, or you could pop them on the Creative Expressions official Facebook page, which I don't know if you've found that yet, but it literally is a group set up and run by Creative Expressions just for you to share your ideas on, and for basically us to see what you're doing and take inspiration from other crafters, which is what it's all about, isn't it? Especially in these times when we possibly have got a little bit more time on our hands, it might be a really nice idea to share our ideas and help inspire each other so we don't get bored and we've got new ideas to play with each day and new ways to use the products that we've already got in our cupboards. Now, the items I've used today, all of these are available through my store, which is craftmaniacrafts.com if you wish to order them online. A lot of the products we've been looking at are also on special offer, so you might want to have a little look at those. But of course, everything I've used is actually from Creative Expressions, and we have a whole host of retailers, both online and stores, that purchase from Creative Expressions, and you will be able to buy these at any of your favourite Creative Expressions stockists. So do have a look around and see what you can find. But obviously, just to recap, we have got our Quilt Essentials background cubes in the background here. We've got our old letter woodware stamp. We have got our Artistry Filigree Collection Beautiful Butterfly, and we have got your Cosmos flower set. And then of course we have your verse that says, "When life gives you scraps, make a quilt." And that pretty much completes everything you're going to need to make this card. Now, once again, this card will go up on the Jamie Rogers Crafts Facebook page, and if you wish to, pop your creations underneath in the comments, and I will pick one lucky winner to send this card out to as soon as I can. This video is also available on Jamie Rogers Crafts YouTube channel, which is my brand new channel. So if you would like to, please do pop onto there and hit subscribe and hit the little bell to get notifications. And if you are a YouTube user, do check out the Creative Expressions YouTube channel as well, because they have got absolutely loads of videos full of inspiration and ideas, which I'm sure will help us all out at this time. Thank you so much for watching this, and please do join in with the 30-day challenge. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye for now.